The Disney Channel proudly presents a royal celebration of all-star rock and roll with Peter Gabriel, Elton John, and Phil Collins, plus Mark Knopfler, Eric Clapton, Joe Cocker, and more. The 1988 Princess Trust All-Star Concert, exclusively on the Disney Channel.
When the Astaire Rogers years came to a close, Fred Astaire was partnered with some of Hollywood's most exciting leading ladies. Always exploring new styles of dance, he continued to revolutionize the art of dance on film and television. Take an intriguing look at the latter part of Fred Astaire's brilliant career. The Sunday Night Showcase presents a special documentary, Change Partners and Dance, as Hats Off to Fred Astaire continues.
Many times people have asked me, what is it that you two would like to have done together but didn't do? And I said, we would like to have danced on water. Wouldn't that have been wonderful?
In 1933, this Hollywood newcomer and this RKO contract player were cast opposite one another in a fluttery musical comedy called Flying Down to Rio.
And we became an overnight sensation. The audiences just went crazy about the fact that something sparkly had happened in the midst of this sort of wild musical.
What was the unsurpassed on-screen magic that made Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire the most brilliant dance team of all time?
I believe the American people loved us because we loved what we were doing. Fred Astaire and I worked very hard. I loved the fact that he was a perfectionist.
You say either, and I say either. You say neither, and I say neither.
In Shall We Dance, the two perform not only one of their most recognizable songs, but also one of their most innovative dances.
I suggested that we get roller skates and do a roller skating number. And to end the number, we acted like we were going off stage behind a curtain. We put our hands out, and when we hit the turf, my hat bounced off. I had not expected it to do that, so it ended rather nicely.
So we better call the calling off. Let's call the whole thing off.
One of the most breathtaking Rogers Astaire moments occurs in the movie Swing Time. 47 takes later, the two achieve artistic perfection in the Never Gonna Dance routine.
Of all the Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers films, that I really liked the most was Swing Time, because of that one dance. The turns I had to do were so vigorous. But he always caught me just before I would sail out of the picture. I adored Fred. I really adored him. He was a sweetheart. And I think that it was such a joy to be in the arms of someone who knew how to dance. It really was.
The films of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers can be seen on the Disney Channel as part of our special festival. Hats off to Fred Astaire. Now, each week on the Disney Channel, share the classic adventures of George and Joy Adamson and Elsa the Lioness. Travel to majestic Africa in a land of untamed beauty, where the price of freedom can be high and life is often a matter of survival.
He's going to charge.
Gary Collins and Diana Muldaur in Born Free, a new weekly series, premiering Monday, January 9th on the Disney Channel. Coming soon, the year's most outstanding cable programs and performers will be honored in the 10th annual ACE Awards competition. The Disney Channel proudly salutes its 18 nominees, including 5 nominations for the compelling story, A Friendship in Vienna, 2 nominations, including Best Movie or Miniseries for the delightful Ollie Hopnoodle's Haven of Bliss. And Dane Gervais nominated for Best Children's Series. Good luck to all our Disney Channel nominees at the ACE Awards on January 15th.
Aisle 4 is now open for checkout.
I have a coupon here for everything.
Ideas, dream, future. Your imagination holds the key. Walt Disney once said the era we live in is a dream come true. But there are still plenty of avenues to explore. The Disney Channel invites you to join us now and imagine.
Paper making is an ancient art. For more than 4,000 years, we've been making writing materials from animal skins, trees, and plants. But today, most of our paper comes from paper and pulp mills. But the process is essentially the same as it's done here, in this small paper-making studio.
Here at the Kensington Paper Mill in Oakland, Don Farnsworth and David Kimball are going to help me create a work of art from handmade paper.
So this is where the paper-making process begins, right?
Well, for us, this is where it begins. These are the raw materials, the fibers that we use generally in making paper for artists. These are very high-quality fibers.
Can you make paper out of any kind of plant?
Yeah, if you're willing to take the trouble and you get a stainless steel pot and you put the fibrous plant material into the stainless steel pot with caustic soda or soda ash, or even washing soda, Arm & Hammer washing soda from the grocery store, and you're willing to cook it for 6 hours to 12 hours.
The kind of paper you make is related to the type of raw materials you use. Kozo and Mitsumata fibers are wood fibers imported from Japan for their strength and beauty.
And this fiber looks totally different from these other 3. What is this about?
Well, this is a Western fiber, and I'll let David talk about that.
Okay.
Indeed, this is different. This is rag fiber here, and this is the most common fiber used in Western handmade paper mills. This is the floor sweepings from textile mills back east. It's gathered up and shredded and bleached and processed and sold to big paper mills and to small paper mills like ourselves. Another cotton product, this is called a cotton linter, and this is the fuzz off the cotton seed. It's a very short fiber, as if you'll compare it to this fiber here, which is considerably longer, the staple fiber from the boll of the cotton plant. And this they use to make not only paper, but a number of products, from dynamite to varnish to celluloid film to powdered stabilizers in our food, to put in our milkshakes and things of that nature.
Whatever materials you choose, the first step is to soften it up with water. This kozo has been simmering all night. We'll be making rice paper, but as you can see, kozo has nothing to do with rice. The Japanese use this sturdy paper for sliding doors called shoji screens.
And make sure we rinse all the chemical out. At this stage, we can check it and see how well the cook has softened the bark.
We're making a traditional Eastern paper, but you can make Western-style paper right in your own home, from old scratch paper, or even from some of your old clothes. Any fabric that comes from a plant can be used, because plant fibers are made up of cellulose, and cellulose is the basic ingredient in paper.
Now the next stage is to beat the fibers to a pulp. It's done with Japanese-style beating sticks, solid oak.
If you're using recycled materials like old paper or rags, use your kitchen blender to make it into pulp. With coarser plant materials, you can recreate the ancient methods and really have some fun. Go ahead and vent some pent-up hostilities on this one.
Say 3 minutes, then you push the pile together. You can take your gloves off, and turn the pile at a right angle to that, to the last beating, and then continue chopping like that. Go ahead and try your hand at that.
Okay. Time to flip it over?
You getting tired? Yeah.
What makes you think that?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, Monty, did you notice how thick and sort of stuck together those fibers can be when you bring them out? We don't like that, not in paper making. We like to add a deflocculant or formation aid, a Japanese one called tororo, which comes from the root of the hibiscus plant. Now we add a little of this and it'll let the fibers move in slow motion so they won't entangle and form lumps, which would be undesirable in the finished sheet.
This starchy, gummy substance enables you to make several very thin layers of pulp instead of just one layer, as in Western-style paper. If you can find some fresh okra at the store, it'll do the same thing. Boil it for a while, then strain it through a cheesecloth.
That looks like it's going to make a beautiful paper. Beautiful Kozo paper. Why don't you grab it?
Oh, all right.
And dump it into this vat right here.
Wow, help.
Here we go. Great.
Once you've diluted the pulp with water, you're ready to make a sheet of paper. What you need is a wood frame with a nylon fly screen firmly attached. A fine bamboo placemat or wall hanging could work pretty much the same as this traditional Japanese paper mold. So will the pulp stay inside there and let the water go through?
That's right. Technique for this is to let one wave pass all the way across, let another wave pass all the way across, another wave pass all the way across, that makes 3, pick the junk out, and finally you get to scoop up a larger quantity.
Yeah.
Then they throw it off by tilting it like this, giving a little throw like that to throw the lumps out.
At this point, you may be wondering where the magic is. What holds the cellulose fibers together so that they form a sheet of paper? It's nothing that you add, and it doesn't depend on the kind of fiber you use. As your wet sheet of paper dries, you've got a phenomenon known as hydrogen bonding. Cellulose fibers just naturally attract other cellulose fibers.
Yeah, great. Oh, that's enough.
All right.
Beautiful. Okay, then set it down and we'll cooch it.
Okay.
Undo the hinges. And lift. There's your sheet.
Looks pretty good.
Looks beautiful. Okay. Look over the top.
This part's a little tricky. You want to lay your wet sheet of paper down on something absorbent, like blotter paper or maybe cardboard. Just simply roll it down, and when you roll it back up, you've left the paper behind.
Then it's back to this end. Flip it over, press down gently. Pull up and back at a 45-degree angle. Back, a little higher. Beautiful sheet of paper. Okay.
Now's the time to really let your imagination take over by adding cut pieces of paper or other collage materials.
The top sheet, which will hold those pieces in.
Okay.
A very thin top sheet seals the designs in place so that they won't fall out. When we're finished, this art piece will last 2,000 years. You probably don't have a hydraulic press in your garage. Fortunately, there's another way of getting the water out. Just cover your wet sheet with a kitchen cloth, then press it with a regular warm iron.
There we go. 20, okay, we'll leave it in there for 5 minutes. Let's go take a coffee break and we'll dry it afterwards and we'll have a finished piece of paper.
The paper-making process is a lot like cooking from scratch. Mix your basic cellulose fiber with water and soak overnight. Heat till tender and beat to a pulp. Strain and lay flat. Add a big dose of creativity and decorate to taste. You know, it serves all ages. I recommend it for people with fun-loving appetites.
Montita, how's the masterpiece?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, beautiful, surrealistic. Nice, we better sign it.
Okay.
Use a pencil. Make it official. Leonardo da Vinci.
Don't tell anyone.
Okay, well, I don't know if he was a surrealist, but maybe we can pull it off.
150 years ago, most of the paper in North America and Europe was made from rag fiber. A good thing, too, because if Rembrandt had access to some of the softer wood fibers that we use for newspapers and paper towels, the greatest works of art would have disintegrated ages ago.
Next, join the Nelson clan for classic family fun on the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, followed by Richard Kiley in Except for Me and Thee. Then Jennifer Jones, Bill Travers, and John Gielgud star in The Barretts of Wimpole Street, tonight on the Disney Channel. You'll love this magical musical that turns a wooden carved marionette into a real live boy.
Hey! Who's you?
Hey, who's you?
It's the fun-filled adventures of that beloved puppet, Pinocchio. Join Danny Kaye and Sandy Duncan as they retell the story in song and dance. It's delightful entertainment for the entire family. Danny Kaye in Pinocchio. Okay, so maybe Mr. Biddle is a little eccentric.
George Biddle.
George.
He's just your basic millionaire with some unique ideas about raising a family.
What proper young man in his right mind would want to marry a lady prizefighter?
Blast the proper young man.
Fred MacMurray, Greer Garson, Leslie Ann Warren, and John Davidson star in Walt Disney's two-fisted musical, The Happiest Millionaire. Dateline, Epcot Center. Earlier this year, we showed you some of the new projects underway at Walt Disney World. Here's an update on two of them. First, the newest pavilion in Future World at Epcot Center, Wonders of Life. Sponsored by Metropolitan Life, Wonders of Life is dedicated to the exploration of human life and health and will feature shows and exhibits which promote good health and explore the mysteries of the human body. Construction has already begun on the framework for the massive dome that will cover this 100,000 square foot pavilion. When completed in October 1989, the spiraling Tower of Life will dominate the entrance to Wonders of Life. And right next door to Epcot Center is the site for the two luxury resorts, the Dolphin and the Swan. These structures will become Florida's largest convention hotel complex. And already, the 200-acre site has been cleared and construction begun on this 2-year project that will continue until 1990. Both hotels will be linked by water taxis that will travel in this canal to the France Pavilion in Epcot Center's World Showcase and to the new Disney MGM Studios. We'll keep you informed on the progress of these two projects, as well as the other attractions underway at Walt Disney World in future Dateline Disney updates. Start your new year off with a bang with the Disney Channel's Hooray for Heroes Festival. Starting New Year's Day, it's 2 full days of courage, chivalry, and spirit, featuring the classic Superman cartoons throughout. So see your fearless favorites and meet a new breed of bravery. First on Sunday.
You must find the baby New Year.
It's the holiday's brightest hero, Rudolph's Shiny New Year.
Jeffrey Wilder is now an indestructible man.
An invincible man against impossible odds. Iron Man.
Look, Larry, Marion! Robin will come!
The legend lives a challenge for Robin Hood.
Quite trained, so I won't have to fight.
Ralph Macchio is the Karate Kid.
Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
The Cape Crusader returns. Superman 2.
Permit me to introduce myself. I am El Zorro.
The swashbuckling bandit is back. Zorro the Avenger. Then on Monday,
this is the miracle we've been waiting for.
the race is on. Hans Brinker or the Silver Skates.
I've never seen anything like it. She has such a drive.
The true story of a Cambodian refugee's fight to overcome a war-torn past. The girl who spelled freedom.
We want to stand with.
The story of pride and racial prejudice. Goodbye, Miss 4th of July.
That's no monkey, that's my dad.
A miracle of modern science is making a monkey out of everyone. A hero in the family.
I keep falling through this hole in time.
He's making history in the 20th century. Biggles. It's a 2-day festival of action, adventure, and inspiration. Hooray for Heroes on the Disney Channel, where we're filling your new year with excitement.
Hi, I'm Harriet Nelson.
I hope you have as much fun watching this next episode of Ozzie and Harriet as my family and I had making it.
Adventure. The entire Nelson family, Ozzie, Harriet, David, and Ricky,